The Civil War in the United States. This Civil War happened because of the overpopulation in the North and slavery in the South. It was between the South, being the Confederacy, and the North, being the Union. The Union had $234 million in bank deposit for the war, while the Confederacy had $74 million. The Confederate had a lot of more soldiers and weapons, which was one of the main reasons why they won the war. The Union soldiers were fighting to defend a government, a system of society, and to end slavery, while the Confederacy were fighting to defend place, honor, and the separation of itself from the North. When the Confederacy lost, they did a total war, which was to destroy everything, so when the Union came to raid, nothing was left. The numbers of the killings were not precisely, but there was about 700,000 killed in total. And the most deadliest weapon of all was the mini ball. The mini ball was a type of bullet used extensively in the American Civil War. It was easy to recharge, and its design helped it for being more accurate and destructive. This mini ball could hit you and could destroy your tissue and bone in a matter of seconds. This is an example of an injury caused by the mini ball. Women also disguised themselves as men to fight in the war. They also helped as nurses helping the wounded. Many of the common wounds were that they had one and they had to amputate or mutilate the limb. Abraham Lincoln was the President of the United States in the time of the Civil War. While the General of the North was General Grant, the General of the South was General Robert E. Lee. General Robert E. Lee surrendered in the city of Appomattox to the North. The winning of the North in the war was one of the main reasons for Abraham Lincoln's being assassinated later. On April 14, shortly after 10 p.m., Abraham Lincoln and the First Lady of the United States entered the Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. Shortly after them entering, John Wilkes Booth, an American actor, entered the theater with on his mind already a plan to shoot Abraham Lincoln. He eventually started getting closer and closer to Abraham Lincoln. He went up behind the president and fatally shot Abraham Lincoln. As Lincoln slumped in his seat and the First Lady called for a doctor, Booth started running away. Abraham Lincoln was then carried to Peterson's boarding house right across the street, where he died early the next morning.
I'm so sorry, but your mate there couldn't make it. I worked all night, but nothing happened. Just don't touch me.
Lincoln was the first president to be assassinated in the U.S. history. Booth killed Abraham Lincoln because he thought it would aid the South, and it definitely didn't. Booth did not act alone. The conspirators were all captured, and Booth was shot while trying to escape the Union soldiers.